Hello, and tonight we will have a special report on the United Nations. What we call today the United Nations took after from the League of Nations that was created after World War I to prevent world wars again. And it was first called the United Nations by President Franklin Roosevelt, the United States President, in the declaration by the United Nations in 1942. 1945, August through October, 50 representatives from 50 nations around the world came together at San Francisco, California, and wrote what we call today the United Nations Charter. The United Nations Charter is the birth of the United Nations and gives its organization and different bodies that create the organization. And today, we celebrate October 24th, which is the United Nations Day each year. There are 2 states in the United Nations that are non-members. These 2 states are considered permanent observers. The first one is the Holy See, also known as Vatican City, which is the smallest nation in the world, and the state of Palestine. Both of these non-members do have missions that are made out by the United Nations, and they both have headquarters in the UN headquarters in New York. The United Nations is made of 4 main bodies. The most major of them is the General Assembly. The General Assembly is comprised of 193 representatives of the 193 member states of the United Nations. They do policy work and make sure that the UN Charter is fulfilled. They also vote on when to send people to Syria, for example, to investigate chemical weapons, or when to send peacekeepers, or when to prevent war. The second major body of the United Nations is named the Security Council. The primary responsibility of the Security Council is to promote world peace. And by this, they meet whenever it is necessary for them to meet, when world peace is either threatened or they need to send peacekeepers to a country in turmoil. They also promote human rights, and they try to protect humans. The United Nations' 3rd largest body is the Economic and Social Council. Their challenge is to make sure that the economy is on track and to keep in touch with major financial companies such as the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. The 4th major body of the United Nations is named the Secretariat. The Secretariat is comprised of all 43,000 staff of the United Nations. These are the different people that, for example, go to Syria and investigate chemical weapons, or are peacekeepers that are around the world trying to keep the peace that was made by the United Nations. The United Nations emblem, which is also on the flag, is a globe, which is white, focused on the North Pole. And the globe is a concern of the United Nations, also the member states. And the olive branch, or the wreath, surrounding it represents peace, and the surrounding flag is blue. The United Nations has 4 main goals: to keep world peace, to make friendly relationships with other nations, to help nations conquer hunger, disease, illiteracy, and to encourage rights, and to help nations improve the lives of poor people. The International Court of Justice can be found in Netherlands and is the only body of the United Nations that cannot be found in the New York headquarters in the United States. This is one of the lesser bodies of the United Nations, and what they do is settle disputes regarding to international law and make opinions to states if they are asking for an opinion on anything that they might do or anything that they might do with other member states. The 2nd minor body of the United Nations is named the Trusteeship Council. The Trusteeship Council examines and discusses reports from the administering authority on political, economic, social, and educational advancements from the people of trust nations. And today, I want to thank you for watching this special report on the United Nations.